Yo, welcome guys to a replay analysis with me, your boy Varbu, and today we're looking once again at our boys, the Zerg boys, by the names of Zogger and Champagne, the Diamond or the Masters and the Gold duo that are averaging out around Diamond League. I don't know if you guys have been promoted since then, but like individually or anything like that, but that is what historically it was. So, anyways, let's help them figure out their next edition of their game. We got both you guys are making your shit. 2v2, generally speaking, you want to make sure you're synergizing with your teammate. So we'll talk about that as we go. Champagne is taking his natural. Zogger is taking his natural. You guys are both doing a hatch first. This is nice. It is fine. Nothing is bad so far. Zogger is going pool first. Champagne is going gas before pool. So it looks like a roach build with a ling speed build, which is nice. There's some synergy there for you guys where you guys can both deal with lots of shit. We have a Terran player and a Zerg player as your opponents. I don't know if you already know this because I didn't see if they picked the races at the start of the game, but that's good. That you guys have good synergy though for what you're doing so far. So this is already developing nicely. Now, you definitely know. If you somehow didn't know before, well now you definitely do. So that's all good. And now I would say Zogger should definitely just kind of like, I wouldn't say that you should hide over the cliff, Zogger, right here. What honestly I would say you should do with this Overlord is I would say you should go to the cliff and then go further to the right and go up. And the reason why you should go up is you should just see what this guy is doing. And this guy is most likely the Zerg player, right? Because it's the Zerg's expansion. Another thing you could do as well, Zogger, that you should do right now with your scout is not just go up and check the mineral line, and also the hatchery to see if it's a layer really fast. But you should skirt along the right side with your Overlord. And you should check the space. Either that, or you could... So you could do that, and then you could have another Overlord come up here and hide over the cliff, or you could bring this Overlord then back down and then hide over the cliff eventually. Or you could just check the mineral line and check to see if he's making a layer and then come back down and sit here. That gives you more information about what they're doing. And then Champagne could actually go north now because he confirmed an expansion. Check this mineral line as well in the gases just to see what Terran's doing and then go along the top side himself. And Champagne could actually see if the Terran's expanding. That would probably make more sense. For the player who should check the expansion should actually probably be Champagne here. Because Champagne can't really leave an Overlord at a good spot to see the natural. Whereas you being like right here is kind of a better spot overall than anywhere that Champagne could be over here. Like this spot right here is super vulnerable because it's very killable. There's no cliff to hide on. So yeah. That's what I would say you guys should do with your scout to make you guys have more info as to what the hell's happening in a good way. Alright, that was a random ass spine crawler. Yeah, and then also if your Overlord ran over here too, Zogger, you wouldn't also be dying to an Overlord and a Marine. And then if you also confirmed, oh, they have Marines and Overlords, which you already know that exists, right? You could be like, okay, well, how about I just sit in the open airspace then? And so then neither of you could guard the natural because they can actually see you with Marines. They don't even need to do that. Now, that is a big deal. You want to know why that's a big deal? It's a big deal because this dude's not making a fucking reactor. If this guy is going to make bio, he's not making anything on that Rax. If this guy is going to go Hellions, he's not making a reactor on that Rax. So all of his shit is delayed. So what I would assume is potentially happening is this guy's build is really inefficient in terms of aggression, or he's playing really greedy. Like, he's not making a fucking reactor. That's a big deal. So that's really bad. He's doing a BC opener. Yeah, that's possible. He might be doing a BC opener, but generally speaking, if you're going to do a BC opener, you kind of want to pair it with Hellions, because just waiting to go for a BC is so vulnerable to like all ins like crazy. Like, how do you stop Lings and Roaches running over your base if you have 0 units and your BC is not even out? Like, you're just gonna die. So, yeah, like, this is a big deal. It shows that his aggression early on is really shit. Like, it's just not really, like, if he is gonna make a reactor, he's gonna be delaying his factory or something and making a reactor off that building when he could have made it off the racks. But now your Overlord dies, so it dies. It is what it is. And then Champagne doesn't scout either. So you guys have no idea? You have no idea if one of them's taking the back base. So right, for all you know, these guys could be on 5 bases instead of 4. And another thing you could do, Zogger, too, is if you had an Overlord here, you could also move it to right here. And you know what you could do if you're right there? It would be the equivalent of being right here. And this Overlord would see that. Right now, you guys are, once again, I feel like not really utilizing the power of what Zerg can do with Overlords. You guys have 2 Overlords together right off the bat, and you barely even scouted their base. You've confirmed there are 2 naturals, though, which is good. That's good for starters. But there's so much open airspace you can abuse on these maps that you're not abusing. Like 2v2 maps are so abusable with Overlord Scouts. So you definitely a lot more info that you guys are lacking that you could have. Like, for instance, if you guys confirmed that there were expansions here, and let's say you moved Overlord here, and you confirmed there's an expansion here as well, and they're going 6 base, just like you're going to go 6 base probably here pretty soon. Do you have a lot of workers, or do you have a lot of army right now? You got a lot of workers. So you could be confident that you could continue to make workers because they're also making a lot of workers. And Zerg scales faster than Terran, so it would give you an advantage if you knew that and were able to do that. It's just useful information. Okay, so the Ling got in the base and then it died. Nice scout by Champagne. Could have been better though. The reason why is because I don't really understand. There was no need to attack the SCV there with 1 Ling. Like, it's never realistically going to work. Even if he pulled the SCVs off the middle line, he killed the SCV. It would still kill the Zergling. What I would say would have been a better scout there was amazing scout on that. You now know the Terran's going 1-1-1 off of an expansion. But what if the Terran expanded again? Or what if the Zerg double expanded? Scouting that is huge. That Ling could have easily went boop right there and scouted that. And then scouting for the layer is huge too, because are you going for a layer, Champagne? No. And why are you not going for a layer? Because you have fucking well, okay. You have a lot of Lings though, which is why this is happening. But you have a lot, and you also made 2 spines. But you're not going for a layer because you're going for a lot of mineral expenses, essentially, early on. You got no gas, you got no gas, you got no gas, just 1 gas. That's okay. That's normal. It's good shit. But you're doing a lot of mineral expenses, so you're giving yourself a lot of larva. So you could get a read on how the other Zerg's going to play. Whereas Zogger actually has the most drones in the game right now, but it's only because he's literally made 0 units, even though he actually has less. He's going to have less larva than you, Champagne. So knowing if the Zerg is going to go for a layer would reconfirm to you if you guys got to worry about mutas really fast. Do you guys got to worry about like someone going for like a massive fucking roach attack with a bunch of Hellion Cyclone? Should you guys be worried about a guy going for a mass Ling Bane with like mass Hellions and maybe a BC is going to come out there? Like, what the hell is going to happen, right? Like, some type of an idea would help you as to, again, a big reason why this makes sense is because scouting is important, because it tells you how much units should I make right now? If your goal, like, think about it like this. Think about it like this. If your goal is to get a 4th base and to get to 80 drones and have a really banging economy, and then you're going to be making units all day, you don't want to make fucking a lot of units and then delay that. You want to make as little units as possible to where you won't die, but you have zero intentions to kill them. Because, like, early on, because your real intention is to make as many drones as you can, as fast as you can, because the faster your drone count finishes, the faster you can not only max out the first time, but the faster you can consistently remax every time after that, because you have a lot of money in the bank. Right? So you want to make as little units as possible to deal with what is happening so that you can get away with it. Now, if these guys were going for 2, like 3 hatchery Zerg on hatchery tech only, no layer, and let's say he had double gas and a Bane nest, and this Terran had triple factory fucking 2 base with like double tech lab, single reactor, I'd be like, you guys need to get ready for some fucking massive Lingbane Hellion Cyclone attack or some shit like that, because that seems like it's what's happening right now. And that would mean you can't make drones as fast for both of you, because if you do, you're going to die. Like, for instance, you're making spines right now, but do you really need them? Let's see what they have, right? There is no base here. That right there reinforces that this is more acceptable now. But you guys never scouted this. That is literally a question mark. The Zerg is on hatchery tech still, on only 2 bases. This is awkward, because this doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. I don't understand that. But the only way this would make sense is if he was going to do some type of an all-in. If he's on 2 bases still, and he hasn't teched either, he should have taken a 3rd by now. And if he's on 2 bases this late in the opening of the game, he should have taken tech if he's going to stay 2 bases. Staying 2 bases and not teching and not taking a 3rd is just bad. It is what it is. He's probably just not paying attention or not super great at StarCraft, which is whatever. He's a Diablo player, as you can tell. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. But you got to just make sure you're not overreacting to shit that doesn't need to be overreacted to. Because if Zogger is fully saturated on his bases, pretty much what he is, which is almost what he's at right now, and then he makes roaches, the roaches could honestly be coming out right around the time when the spines would be finishing. So, not a big deal for you to make these, if Zogger can help you. Okay. Zogger, you're not spinning your larva again. Zogger, you gotta speed that shit up, dude. You just started making larva. You just started making units. And number 1, you supply blocked by making a couple roaches because you didn't do anything with your larva. And number 2, you didn't even start making these roaches until you had like 4 or 5 larvae on each hatchery. So that is fucking brutal for you because you're wasting larvae again. Oof. Now you can see your larva here. It's popping off the hatcheries, right? Yeah, 8 larvae on 2 hatcheries. An overlord did just pop. Multiple overlords just. You made like 4 overlords just now. But I mean that's better than not making any. And now you're trying to fix your larva, so fix that shit. But now you still have 3, right? Why do you still have 3? And it's on 1 hatchery. You're capping your larva again. You are not 5SDing enough. You are not 5SRing enough. You are not making shit enough. And you're also doing it before you're fully saturated on the natural. You don't want to make the roaches. Like, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now. You guys have scouted nothing to alert you to being all in right now. Nothing. And if you guys both reacted to those like 12 Zerglings that came over here to poke this base, and that was why you made roaches, and that was why Champagne made banelings, and more lings on top of that, you got all that means is that you guys panic, react, because you guys don't scout enough. You guys have no read on what the fuck they're doing. And you're every time they poke you at all, you think you're getting all in. When you're not. This game particularly, at least. So that just comes down to you guys need to be more aware of what the hell's going on in the game. Better Overlord usage. Again, this is I feel like that's something you guys struggle with a lot. And also, Champagne needs to scout more. He did scout as well, though, is the thing, right? Champagne did scout. But Champagne needs to understand that, I mean, he might understand this. I mean, he may or may not. I don't know. But he needs to understand that. And you guys need to relay this info to each other as well. Because you making roaches makes fucking no sense right now. At all. Which you made, you just made 10 fucking roaches on 11 drones on the middle line. That is so bad. You're so far behind now where you could be because you're fucking your economy up so badly. You don't have a third started yet. Your third should have been started a while ago now. Your third should have been started probably like 30 seconds ago. And you still don't have a fully saturated natural mineral line by now. And it's really late. Like, you actually had 36 drones for the last like 2 minutes of this game. Your initial part was great, but then you just stopped making drones. So I don't like that. Definitely saturate your base fully. 3 gases and 2 mineral lines fully saturated before you make roaches. If you're not getting all in, and you're not getting all in. And again, that's something that Champagne needs to tell you when he scouts. You guys need to both, again, try to Overlord scout. But he needs to tell you, oh yeah, they're going 1-1-1. This is not a fucking all in. 1-1-1 is not all in. Especially behind a natural. That's not a fucking all in at all, by any means. This is harassment. Now, it could turn into a future all-in if he wants to go for, like, 3 more factories or, like, 2 more starports and be, like, really crazy on production or, like, 5 more racks. Then, sure, that could be an all-in then on 2 bases. But so far, nothing about this has told you all in. And then also, Champagne scouted nothing about the Zerg. You did not scout the mineral line, and you did not scout the mineral line, and you did not scout the third base. And you did not scout the tech. So, when that Zergling was in the base free roaming, that would have been so much more value to scout rather than to poke an SCV and not kill any of them and then die. Missed beats there a little bit for you guys. Okay, there's a Banshee. And also, you saw the tech lab there too, right? You saw the tech lab there with your Ling earlier. So you guys should have both made spores in all your mineral lines at like 5 minutes. Let's go back. Let me explain something to you really fast. Let's go back to that scout. It's important to know this. You scouted a tech lab at 3 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, your Ling got in the base, right? And he was just like, in the base. Poke, 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 poke. Look how much time you could have been running around and checking the base. So much time. This is like... Your Ling died at like 350, 349, and you got in the base and passed by this at like 337, 338. It was like 12 seconds, 13 seconds of running around doing nothing. Like, or of not running around and instead doing nothing after your initial scout. Anyways, still overall a decent scout, but could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot more value there. But if you see this, a tech lab on a starport this fast and it's 1-1-1, definitely want to tell your teammate that. And you guys should both be making a spore crawler on each of your emitter lines by about 5 minutes. And why is 5 minutes a good number to make it for? because the amount of time it would take for them to get Battlecruiser or for them to get Banshees would be very zonable if you get a Spore Crawler started at 5 minutes, which means the Spore Crawler would finish at like 5:20. And here's how I'm getting those numbers. Spore Crawler takes 21 seconds to make. So if you started at 5 minutes, 5:21 will be when it finishes. Now, a Tech Lab takes 18 seconds to make, and you scouted it when it was halfway done, and as you died, it was basically finishing. Right? Your Ling just died, and it's finishing right now. So now you have to understand, how long does it take to make a Banshee? It's only like 40 seconds-ish, right? 43 seconds. It's not that long. And 43 seconds from now is only like 4.5 minutes. It's definitely not 5 minutes. So you're not making a Spore just because he makes a Banshee. Because thank you. What's it called? Sorry, I got distracted. You're not making a Spore because he makes a Banshee, because a Queen can zone out a Banshee. That's what I was trying to say. Instead, you have to worry about the things that a Spore needs to be used for even more, which is Cloak or Battlecruiser. Now, if the guy wants to go for Cloak, it's not based off the Banshee itself anymore. It's based off the Cloak upgrade, which is a much longer time investment, which is 79 seconds. And 79 seconds from now is going to be around 5 minutes and 20 seconds, roughly, ish, because it's 80 seconds from now, right? Essentially, and it's going to be like 5 minutes and 10 seconds. It's going to be really close to a Spore Crawler being at 5 minutes. So if this guy were to make a Banshee, fly it across the map, and then get Cloak immediately when the Tech Lab was done, and then sit here, and the second it's like upgrade complete, he goes in your base, he'd have like 10 seconds from right when upgrade complete is to have free reign over the middle line, but your Spore Crawler would already be like halfway done. So you'd run away to like right there and then run right back, and then the Spore Crawler is up. You might lose like 2 drones before the Spore Crawler is out, and then you have a Spore and a Queen and you're fine. For all of you, no matter what base got hit. And now if it was Battlecruiser, long story short, a Fusion Core and a Battlecruiser itself take longer to make than a Cloak upgrade. It's 46 plus 64. So longer, right? It's just a longer investment of time than 79. So your Spore would easily be done in time for a BC. And that would be information you guys need to share with each other. You guys need to scout together, and you need to talk about it, and you need to understand, like, what the hell is capable of your opponent? Like, how the fuck can you die? So the fact that you guys don't make Spores at all at 5 minutes is also kind of shitty for you, because if this guy would have gone for Banshees, like let's say he gets 2 Banshees and he gets Cloak, and you guys don't know that, there is a good chance that Banshees could come in your base by like 5:30, 5:40, whatever, and start deleting drones like crazy. We'll see if that happens, right? But I mean, you guys had the info there to use, you just didn't use it really yet, at least. And just throwing it out there, guys. I don't want to make you guys get confused, okay? Some people want it to be way more basic than what I just explained. If you guys want to make it really easy and really basic, where am I getting 5 minutes from? I did the math for you, and that's where I got it from. But just remember, if you want to make it easy to remember it, if Terran has a Tech Lab starport, but they did it with an expansion, 5-minute Spore Crawler. Start 5-minute Spore Crawlers, and you'll be fine. If a Terran does not have an expansion, and they opened up with a Tech Lab starport, make a Spore Crawler at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Do it 30 seconds faster. And that's as simple as that. You can remember it just like that. And I'm getting the numbers from doing the math on time for what makes sense. But 4-minute 30 Spore versus a 111 no expansion Terran, and 5-minute Spore versus an expansion into 111 Terran is fine too. And then you're good to go. No damage will be really had on your mineral line. You'll have a Spore in time to not get fucked. And there you go, right now. Already, more value for this Banshee than you making Spores, 1 Spore per base. You've already lost 5 drones. And that's just so far. It's not even all of it yet. It's still going. But 5 drones is the equivalent of 250 minerals. And 3 Spore Crawlers is the equivalent of 225 minerals. And then you would also, and here's the thing, right? You're still making spores because this is now a problem. So you're making the spores either way. You're just doing it after you lose a bunch of drones. So the trade-off cost is actually not even fair to say because you're making them anyways. But you're not making it before you lose drones. You're making it after you lose drones, which is brutal. Ten fucking drones died. Right as your Banshee died, or right as the Banshee died, 10 drones died. That's 500 minerals worth of drones, and you made spores, which is 225 minerals worth of, or really 150 so far, because this one hasn't started yet. Brutal. Fucking brutal. Damage you didn't need to take. Okay. Zogger is going for so again, you guys need more communication, dude. You guys need to, I don't know if you guys play on Discord together or something, or if you guys just type together, but you guys need to communicate more. And you guys need to be more perceptive about what the hell's going on, because if this Banshee, and also Zogger, you got to realize you just made an overseer for the Banshee, right? Make some fucking spores. Because if this guy goes around right here and kills like 4 drones, 5 drones, you fall into the exact same predicament that Champagne just fell into, which is you're going to make him anyways when he starts killing your mineral line. But if you make him after you lose a bunch of drones, it's such a waste. Alright, that was not ideal. Okay, so that was a miss micro, I would say. And this is now a new piece of information I would say. This defense was already going to be hard for you guys because Champagne got AF'd. I'm sure you guys can figure out the acronym for that, what that means. Think of a shower in prison when you drop the soap. He just got AF'd big time. Right? By the Banshees and stuff. So he doesn't have shit to help you here other than queens. So here's where the question lies. Why the fuck is Champagne leaving his spine crawlers to defend the natural when this choke point can defend the natural and the third base? The spine crawler should be in the fight right here, right now. Your creep is there too, which was good. But there's no reason to not have spines up there. Secondly, you guys didn't use any transfuse at all really here. And you 100% should have been using transfuse, because kiting your roaches against the Hellbats makes sense if it's just Hellbats, but it doesn't make sense if it's roaches and Hellbats. Because if you kite and if you start spreading out roaches all over the place, like, you don't even need to do that, honestly. You don't even actually need to do that, honestly, against Hellbats, because if you have roaches, you only have to do that when you have queens, because queens don't do enough burst damage to really break the Hellbats down, but roaches do. Roaches can just all clump up, volley the Hellbats, and then run away. Like, shoot the Hellbats, run away. Shoot the Hellbats, run away in a clump. But if you spread your roaches out against Hellbats, you just make it harder for yourself, even though you still could win against Hellbats with roaches. It's just over-microing. But against roaches versus roaches, if you spread out your roaches, and now you have like 2 here, 2 there, 2 here, and then your opponent has like 12 here attacking your 2 there, you're going to lose your roaches so fast. So ideally what you guys would have wanted to have happened was a nice like brick wall of spine crawler, queen roach, knock out the Hellbats, back up like maybe once or twice and let him get on top of the spines if you need to and transfuse the spines. Kill him off the spines or something. and then push forward again on the roaches that push them off your spine crawlers, and then transfuse a lot. Between all your queens, you guys have like 12 or like sorry, Jesus. Like 12 or like 15 transfuses here. You have a lot of transfuses. You have a lot of transfuse. So definitely want to make sure you're using that as much as possible. And you guys didn't really use much at all. And the thing about it too is you can't even transfuse if you make your roaches run opposite of your queens. And now, thank you. Now you use the transfuse, but you did it after the roaches were dead, so you like lost a lot of your DPS, and then you use the transfuse. So I'm glad you guys did it eventually, but now the problem is that you waited so long that now this base is gonna die, because you blew your fucking defense here, because all the roaches died, and your spines are doing nothing, and the queens are now out of energy, and your creep is being reseeded, because they have Overseer killing creep tumor and shit. So now this base is dead. So now you guys have been once again reduced back to 5 bases instead of 6 bases. So not a great trade for you, because even though these guys lost the fight, they still won the battle, which was they disrupted your economy. So a little bit rough for you. And now your money's getting high again, Zogger. You gotta spend that money, dude. You gotta spend that fucking money, man. Zogger, your money, I'm telling you right now, your money gets really high because you just don't spend your larva again. Like, if I hit... You have 2 larvae right now sitting there. And if I hit D for production, if I see a bunch of units that are just recently started and there's like double digits of them, it clearly says that you waited with a lot of larvae, which means you weren't generating larvae. And that's why your money's so high. You have 11 roaches starting right now. That is a lot of roaches to be started. They're like all the same, which means you haven't been like making them periodically. You just... Zogger, what you don't do, which you need to do, is you need to do this with your fingers. The entire fucking game. This is... You know what? This is... Put your hand up right now. Zogger, put your hand up right now. Put your hand in the fucking air right now and do this. And notice how unnatural this feels to you. Because you don't do it. You know what you do, Zogger? You do this. Like once in a while. That's what you do. You need to tickle the balls. You need to fucking do it a lot more, man. You don't do it. This is only a bad habit that will continue to fuck you over all day. You need to literally be going all hatcheries and the whole fucking time 5SD, 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 5SD. Or 5 SD, 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 made shit. 5 SD, 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 SD. You need to fucking do it a lot more. You need to literally get in the habit of being able to wiggle your fingers like that. Like all the fucking time on the keyboard. You don't do it, so your macro sucks ass. Because if you just do this a lot when you play StarCraft, you can do this. Like it's like saying this. You guys ever heard of these things where you go like this? You're like, guess what? I can have a conversation with you and do this the whole time. And you know what's going to happen? I'm not thinking about making my stomach get rubbed and making my head get patted the entire time. I can be like, what's 7 plus 7 is 14. What's 7 times 7? 49. It doesn't fucking matter. My chair is slowly turning backwards because of my weight distribution here. But I'm not even thinking about using my hands right now. And neither should you. You should actually be fucking using your hands by muscle memory, and you should be using your fucking brain by thinking about what you need to be doing at what point in the game. Like, I need to creep spread right now. I need to inject right now. I need to fucking scout with an overlord right now, or whatever. You don't need to be thinking about, I need to make units right now, because that should be automated. It should be literally fucking automated. It shouldn't be something that you think about. It should be just... It should be... muscle memory. It should just be something you fucking do. And you don't... This is the problem everyone has when they're in gold and shit like that. They don't do it like that. They don't have muscle memory of it because they just don't fucking do it. They do not do it. So you can fix that by just doing it more. And it'll become automated for you as time goes on. Okay, this is not a time to attack. Worst attack timing ever. What you guys should be doing right now... Because, look, you're making drones, right? Champagne's making drones right now, and you're not spending your money. You guys are fucking dead. You guys are going to get F'd in the A once again by attacking, because your attack is going to be weak on your side, because you just don't have big units. You got almost 3,000 minerals in the bank and 1,500 gas in the bank, because you're just not spending your money. So your army is essentially like 30 roaches, or like 33 roaches weaker than it could be right now. Genuinely. You could have like... If we also include the cost of overlords, you could probably have like 25 more roaches right now than you do. And imagine if your supply was at 150 or 167 right now. I mean, fucking, you would have a blob of roaches instead of just like 7 of them or 8 of them or 9 of them. You'd have so many fucking... You'd have like this times 3 almost. That'd be huge. And then, does it make sense also for Champagne to attack right now? Because he's got... This is not going to contribute anything to the fight, right? Fucking nothing. And he's making drones as well behind this. Which he should be. I agree with that he should be. But the fact that you guys are attacking right now, all you're doing is you're giving units away for no reason. You're not... This is going to do... Like, the Lings being across the map is okay. And the reason why that's okay is because their mobility... They can run away from fights. The roaches, however, being across the map right now doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you have less mobility and there's other units in the game that could exist that could punish you. Like, they have speedlings too. What if they surrounded you and held you in place while they ran you over and you just dedicate like 20 supply to them or like 25 supply or whatever? You just... It's just such a waste. Okay, so ultimately you guys pull back. Zogger, you got a macro, dude. Oh my goodness. Your money just goes up. Like, look at your larva again. You just don't fucking use it. Zogger. And you know what that... You want to know why you didn't macro right there? Because you distracted yourself and you attacked. And you stopped macroing. And you focused on attacking. Like, I'm dead serious. If I go back to your camera, I guarantee I'm going to watch your roaches the entire time. Right here. I'm going to go to your camera and I'm going to watch what you do. Let's watch you micro your roaches. I guarantee that's what you do. Champagne, stop fucking attacking. I already know what's happening. You're sharing units of Champagne and he's fucking attacking like that. Champagne, what the fuck are you doing? Get it back. This isn't Zogger. Zogger, you have your own problems that I'll talk about in a second. Champagne, stop being so fucking aggressive. Scout is fine. You guys need to really react to what you scout, though. You guys, that is your biggest weakness as a team. Is you guys have fucking zero reaction to your scouts, really. You really not great reactions to scouts. You guys need to fix that. But there was no reason for Champagne to attack there. Absolutely none. The only time you should attack is one of 2 times. Number 1, when you have an army, a big one, and your opponent just lost their army to you. Now, what you had there a second ago was not the definition of a big army. And I know everybody knows that as well. I don't have to explain why. It was a little bit of units. It was very tiny. That's not a big army. So... Army wasn't big. And then the second reason why you shouldn't attack is because if you're not going to continue to reinforce your attack, you shouldn't be attacking. If you're going to make drones behind your attack, do not fucking attack. And instead, you can still poke, harass, scout. That's all fine and dandy. But what happens when you do that is generally speaking, you're going to run away when someone approaches you. Or you're going to sacrifice what's there. But if you sacrifice what's there, scouts are not armies. They're little tiny bits of pieces of army, which is very replaceable. Like, in no way ever has anyone ever said, I'm scouting him with like a 60 supply army. I'm going to scout him really fast. And then you throw away 60 supply and you're like, it was just a scout. Not a big deal. No, that's a fucking attack. A scout is like 2 supply or like 8 supply or something small. Right? And that's, you only had like 12 lings or like 14 lings, which is literally like 7 supply. That's totally fine to fucking scout with. That's not the end of the world if you lose that. It's so cheap. That's fine. But like adding in the roaches there made no sense. Because you're never going to win the fight. And it's not even a scout at that point. It's actually an attack at that point because roaches are bumbling, fumbling fucking derpy boys. And they're just going to die. And that's exactly what happened. Like most of them died on the way back across the map. So Champagne, stop fucking attacking all the time. With like, or don't do things like that. That made no sense. I hope that makes sense how I explained it. But try not to do shit like that in the future. Now Zogger. What the fuck, dude? You have your own problem with trying to micro your queens against an overlord. You spent such a long time attacking that fucking overlord. There's 2 ways in the future I want you to fix that. Number 1, move command underneath it and let it happen. Or number 2, just A-move it and don't touch your queens anymore. Like, A-move the overlord and then hold shift and right-click back to your creep. So that when the overlord dies, your queens will automatically come back to your creep and be ready to, like, be in position to spread it again or whatever. And they're not just going to be way the fuck over here after they kill an overlord or something. Because, yeah, you prioritized microing your queens to try to kill an overlord for like 12 seconds right there. And you macroed absolutely nothing in that process. And that is such a... That's like saying... It'd be like saying this. Let me give you an analogy of how I see what you just did there. Imagine that your entire house is on fire. Your whole house. Every fucking floor of the house is on fire. You're outside on the curb, and the house is literally on fire. And instead of, like, trying to deal with the fire before it became a problem, like getting a fire extinguisher or something like that, like, you're worried about someone stepping on, like, your grass, or you're worried about, like, the grass catching fire, or something like something that just doesn't fucking matter at this point. It literally is irrelevant. Like, there's a big problem at hand that is massively in your face, and you're just completely ignoring it, and you're worrying about something that is completely fucking irrelevant. Like, it just doesn't matter. I hope that makes sense, though. Like, killing an overlord there to sacrifice all of your macro on 3 bases for fucking 1/4 of a minute almost is such a waste of time. And that shit is, like, you're gonna lose games because of that. It's not something that I'm just like, yeah, try not to do it in the future, and it's whatever. It's like, this is why you're Gold League, and this is why you're gonna struggle in Gold League until you figure this out. This is, you're taking something that is high priority, and you're doing something else that is such a low priority, and you're like, something could be like a 10 out of 10 on the priority list, and something else is a 1 out of 10, and you're prioritizing the 1 out of 10, and you're like, yep, that seems like what I should be doing right now. And it definitely isn't. It's just fucking you over really bad. Because your macro right now, being the way it is so unacceptable. It's super unacceptable. Also, from now on, Zogger, I'm going to tell you something. I think I might have told you this before, and if I did, I'm going to tell you this again. But do this from now on. Make a fucking macro hatch. Once you get to the point you're at right now, where you have 3 bases, make a macro hatch when you start saturating your third, and make a second macro hatch when you finish saturating your third. I want you to be on 5 hatcheries on 3 bases. And use them. Use your hatcheries. I would much rather you be like, fuck, I only have like 100 minerals and like 17 larvae right now, than saying I have 5,000 minerals and 2 larvae. Because this will help you actually spend your money better, because it's going to create more larvae for you to work with when you're not using your larvae as efficiently as you should be. Now, it's basically what I'm doing, Zogger, to you. I don't want to emasculate you here, but I'm giving you training wheels. I'm basically putting 2 training wheels on the sides of your base, and you're gonna fucking learn how to use those training wheels first. And in the next replay, you show me. I do not want you to submit that to me unless you lose the game or win the game. You can win or lose the game. I don't give a shit. But I want your money to never surpass like 1,000 minerals the entire time, and I want you to max out. The only time your money should ever go above 1,000 is if you're maxed out and you're banking money then. That is your biggest goal you need to overcome. Because you guys have some problems as a team right now. You do. You guys as a team, you have some problems, which we've talked about. But as a team, if there was like a spreadsheet of like what like percentage is the problem, like priority wise, you not macroing is like 60% of you guys' entire problem as a team. Like, this will hold you back more than anything, like by a large margin, because the amount of teams that will attack you and run your asses over is going to be always really high if your macro looks like this every game. Like, you need to believe yourself that this is already losing gameplay, and this needs to change for you. And a good way to change it is literally to just make a couple macro hatches if you're struggling to just spend your larva. You have to change it in some way. It has to change for you. Otherwise, you're going to lose all the time. You'll never go out of where you're at, ever. And look, they're attacking you right now, right? They're attacking you. Imagine if you were already maxed out. Because think about this for a second. You actually right now only have 113 supply active right now, because you have 26 supply tied up in production right now, and you have, I'm telling you right now, you have enough money, and you've had enough time to already be at 200 supply of roaches that are not even in construction. They're already there. They're out. You have so much fucking more money than you need to have already maxed out for a while now. And if you were maxed out with like 60 roaches or like 55 roaches, because again, your 1 roach is 2 supply, and you're working with like, you'd have more like probably like 45 to 50 roaches, because you also have some queens, to be fair. But yeah, let's just say you have 50 roaches, okay? Just make it easy. You have 100 supply of roaches. If you had 50 roaches right now, you would have such a formidable fucking fight here with your team. And then whatever Champagne could muster up. What does he have? Champagne has nothing, unfortunately. He's fucking dead weight right now. How much mutas is... Oh, he's got mutas. Okay. So think about this. Here's it. Okay, he does have something. I'm just joking. He has some mutas. Mutas are... He has less than I'd like him to have, but he got fucked over because his scouting was problematic. But imagine if you had 50 fucking roaches and queens guarding your base out of siege tank range. And then imagine if Champagne killed the tanks with his mutas first. These guys can't even hit air right now. You could kill the tanks with Champagne's mutas, and then all 50 of your roaches could engage this with mutas on top of you, and you guys would 100% chance win that fight convincingly. And then you could go counterattack their bases. But you can't do that because you don't have any fucking roaches, really. And Champagne also doesn't have a lot of mutas either, because he didn't really scout very well. He scouted okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. He gave himself enough information that he needed, but he didn't utilize it, and he got fucked anyways. So, better reactions by him, better macro by you. And then if you guys had set that up better that way, 100% you guys would just counterattack them and run them over. But it also, so that also means that right now, if he's got less mutas than he wants, and you've got less roaches than you want, the worst thing you can do right now is engage into this army with your roaches. This is a situation where you guys can see everything. This is your vision, by the way. You guys can see everything in the fight. So why not take it to your advantage and not fucking move in with roaches until tanks are gone? Because this is all ground only. And here's the final reason why you shouldn't feel pressured. They're not attacking a base yet. They are not actually attacking an expansion. And if they do go attack like this expansion, we'll run your roaches along the wall here and go over there and defend it. If they run roaches at this base, defend it outside of tank range. If you run into tank range, you know what's going to happen? You guys are still going to win this fight. You will. You will still win this fight because you have mutas, and mutas will win because they have no anti-air. But you will lose every fucking roach you have. And you want to know what that does to you? You lose every single aspect of counterattack potential that you have. If all your roaches die, you guys cannot counterattack. Because by the time you do, they're going to have an answer for mutas. Like, they're going to start making Thors. They're going to start making Hydras. They're going to have missile turrets, spore crawlers. And you're going to not be able to use roaches because they're dead. So you don't have any way to, like... The only counterattack you could do then is mutas. But they'll have shit ready for it. So then by the time you make your next roach army, they have another army again to deal with you.
Hey, help your friend.
So now, as the tanks are starting to die, all the roaches are dead already.
Our allies are being attacked.
So that you could argue that that was not worth it. Right? Should have definitely backed up. Because that made no... Like, because again, think about this. Think about why you take a fight. What the fuck needs to be defended in this exact location? What is so important about this spot right here for that exact moment right then? As opposed to waiting for like 10 seconds for mutas to kill the tanks. Literally nothing. The only thing that would matter is if he went like that. Like if they went to this base. But is that base really worth it anyways? It's got 6 fucking drones at it. That's not a high value location right now. Secondly, if the mutas kill the first couple tanks closer to you, and these units all run this way, you could chase them once the tank dies, or you could run, because again, the tank wasn't sieged like right here. The tank was sieged like right there. So that tank being sieged right there, you can honestly run around the rocks and avoid most of the tank fire. And the mutas will, again, the mutas are going to kill the tank too, so it's not going to last for very long anyways. But you engaged before the mutas were even there, and all the roaches died, and then the mutas started killing tanks, and now the mutas have to now turn around once the tanks are dead and try to survive and salvage whatever isn't dead by then, which is going to be most of your drones. If these guys are assertive at all, I don't know why they're not being assertive. Missed opportunity by them. Why the fuck are they sitting with their thumb up their ass so hard? I have no idea. But these are things you can take advantage of, right? If you really understand tempo of the game, the fact that they played so goddamn passive and sat there, like, look at this.
Hey, they're attacking our base.
You are compromised at 928. Why the fuck does this guy not just run lurkers in the middle line, burrow them, and then run down your queens with hellbats and roaches? Why the fuck is he not doing that? But look at how non-assertive the gameplay is right here. What is the purpose of burrowing there? What is the purpose of standing there? What is the purpose of standing here?
Your base is under attack.
What is the purpose of pulling back? Fucking no reason. This is just confusion, is all it is. It's just people being confused. And if you're running around with opportunity to kill an economy that's super exposed, and your opponent is killing you with mutas while you can't kill them back, every second that goes by, your army just gets smaller and smaller. So these guys, you just fucked yourselves over, and then these guys are now fucking themselves over by not taking advantage of that.
Are being attacked. Mutation complete.
That should not have happened that way. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It is what it is, though. So the game resets, and look at the macro, right? Champagne doing a decent job. He's got a less than a 1K in the bank while that fight happened, and he even lost some workers and shit on the gas, and you guys lost some queens together. He's gonna try not to fix that shit. Now let's look at your macro really fast, Zogger. Better be not shit. Better not be 5K minerals. Okay. You have 8 roaches in production. You have 4 larvae. You're not injecting a lot of your injects, though. Again. So, decent, but not great. Could be a lot better. Still decent, though. Not as bad as what I was expecting. Okay, now this is totally fine. I actually think this is correct. Now, I actually would say, because you made Hydras, you should not be attacking. But if you remade Roaches, you 100% should be attacking with these mutas. And you guys shouldn't attack the same spot. You should attack expansions opposite of each other. Like, mutas should be dragging the units into the main base and the natural and stuff, while you attack the newest expansions on the bottom of the map with your Roaches. If you made Roaches. But because you're making Hydras, you should now go into Hydra Lurker with a Death Ball, with Hive Tech upgrades, and Champagne can continue to play Muta style for now, while fixing his... all gas goes into Mutas, and all minerals goes into fixing his economy, while he just tries to be annoying. And then also, this is not only a harassment, it is also a scout. It's a scout, though, so Champagne, don't fucking take fights like that. If you see fucking spores and shit, get out of there. Do not... You're making drones behind this, which is correct. I agree. I'm glad you are. That's good. Like, at least you made one drone, at least. But do not take fights against defensed areas. Like, I would say, with the amount of meters you had, taking a fight against one turret to kill a mineral line, that's okay. But taking a fight against a queen and 2 spores is not okay. 1 spore is actually better than 1 queen. Or, sorry, 1 spore is better than 1 turret. It's got more health. It's got more damage versus mutas. It's just stronger than that, than a turret versus a mutalisk. So definitely don't take fucking fights against spores if they're up. But 1 turret, that's fine. Or like 1 queen, that's fine. Now, with the amount of mutas you have now, you have like 30 mutas or something. Now you can take on a fight with a spore. That's like, if you have enough mutas to basically like 1 or 2 shot a spore, that's a different story. That's more okay now. You guys should not be attacking together right now, by the way. This is a terrible attack timing. Again, you're doing another anti-timing. Why are you doing an anti-timing? Because Champagne is making drones. Where's your fucking production? He's making mutas specifically. But should be making drones as well. Like, if you're going to make lings, then that's a little bit more okay. But it's just mutas so far. There are no lings right now. So I'm imagining there's drones that are being made somewhere. Also, you guys aren't fixing your fucking economy. Fix your economies, guys. You guys are playing this like an all-in when you don't have to. You guys are actually putting yourself in a situation where this needs to win the game for you, otherwise you're going to lose. But, again, if Champagne makes drones here, it makes no sense to attack for both of you. This should be harassing, not army killing. Secondly, you are going to Lurker Tech with Hive, and you're getting all your upgrades. You're not ready. This is not your power spike, Zogger. So you attacking right now as well makes no sense. You're only going to get stronger as time goes on if you spend your money and you actually get lurkers in here and you get high, like, because you're doing baseline Hydras, no range, no speed. So this sucks. Like, this is a weak ass attack. This is like a wet noodle compared to what it could be. So this is like, even if you guys win this fight, it's only because your opponents aren't that good. Generally speaking, you should not win like this. This is incorrect, improper gameplay. This is not the time to attack. It makes literally no sense why you guys are attacking right now. And it's working. But I mean, we have already confirmed that your opponents also have some problems of their own, right? This is not how you should be playing it out. This is only going to lose versus better players. The harass is fine. The Champagne attacking with Mutas is totally fine because they're agile, they're mobile, they can get in and out and not die. Engaging with fucking slow Hydras, you know what that does? You have no retreat. Not only do you not have a lot of power because you're investing into lurkers and you're investing into all your upgrades, but you don't have them yet. So you're having a smaller army because you're investing into things that cost money, which is taking away from your Hydra timing. So it's shrinking your Hydra count a little bit initially, which is why you shouldn't be attacking. But you don't have your upgrades aren't done yet. So if you guys actually get overpowered, you cannot retreat. You have to run. As you run away, you're gonna be like slowly fucking running, and they're gonna just roast your ass as you run away. And then you're gonna be like, oh, like I just lost half my Hydras because I couldn't run away very fast. That sucks. Good find by the Mutas. Good job. Definitely want to be checking the map. Little sloppy Champagne with your Muta micro there. That was the worst magic boxing in my life that I've seen. You got to be really curious. Like, man, I don't, Champagne, I don't know if you know what magic boxing is. I'm sure you know what it is, but I don't know if you really fully respect it. But I would say the same thing that I would say to you about how you reacted to the Banshees. This is the same thing I'll say to you about how you reacted with your Mutas against the Thors. The second you realize there is an active component in a game, you need to now respect it and now react to it. So as soon as you realize there was a Tech Lab starport as a part of the game, you needed to fucking make some spores at 5 minutes to not get fucked by that. And as soon as you realize there is Thors in the game, you need to now very much respect every time you fight something that you're going to magic box shit. You can't just A-move your Mutas like that and then hope for the best because you just lost all your Mutas by being lazy. And you're doing it again. That is fucking brutal. That is so many Mutas that just died. You really got to magic box those Thors. That is, you just threw away your whole, like, you just threw the game for yourself right there really fucking hard. You don't even need to tech switch, honestly. If the Terran player is going to go mass Thors, and he's going to be going up against Mutas and Lurkers and Hydras, Lurker Hydra can beat Thor, no problem. And Mutas can break down the Terran's economy, no problem. But the Muta player needs to not lose his Mutas like that. And just A-move and let Mutas just do whatever they want and then stack up and fucking die. Now, this attack you just did here, Zogger, not the worst attack, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you guys are getting desperate because all the Mutas just died. So that's rough for you. And if you sit back and you don't apply any pressure, it could cause problems for you in the future. The only thing I would say would be, instead of trying to force fights army versus army by yourself versus both of them now, I would rather you force fights at expansions and kill expansions. So one of you should be killing this base, and then one of you should be killing this base. And because all the mutas are dead, Champagne can't do anything for you now. So you should either go finish the job or attack this base and then retreat. Do not fucking take fights by yourself. I would say it would make more sense for you, honestly, to kill this base, because this base is more exposed. There's an easier retreat path to your base from there than there is from here, because you got to go all the way like down and around the map and shit. It's way harder to get back to your base hitting this base by yourself. So yeah, this made no sense. Like, if you push deeper into the natural, you're just going to lose everything. Kind of like what Champagne just did.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, you're going to lose everything now. Because you're committing to the base. Like, you're committing to the fight, and now you're committing to the base. After you're just, these are all dead. I already know these are dead. There's zero chance this works. Your Hydras are dead. And you're throwing your army away as well now. So you guys both just took kind of like, your fight was less bad than Champagne's right there, but it didn't really make a lot of sense to just try to like push through it by yourself and just like take the initiative and kill all them, like them entirely. You should have just killed something that's weak on the edge because you're by yourself. And it's higher chance you're not going to fuck yourself that way. If you push again right now, once again, it's a mistake. Champagne has nothing to support you. Champagne 100% should be running his Lings around here. Why should Champagne go here? Because Lings suck against the Planetary Fortress, and Lings also have faster mobility, so they can retreat also with a harder path to retreat from because they're faster. You should be up here killing this base while they're over here dealing with Lings from Champagne. That's what you guys should be doing right now. Not setting up for a big fucking fight. If you set up for a big fight, you're going to 2v1 them because the Lings are going to basically... imagine if you were in a... Imagine this, okay? Imagine that you went to a bar and there's a fucking bar brawl that's about to break loose. It's about to break out. Guys are getting pissed. And you got two guys that are talking shit. And both of these guys are like 200 pounds and they're like 6'3", 6'4". They're like pretty fucking big. And then you also are like 6'3". You're like 200 pounds yourself. And then Champagne is like 5'2", and he's like 99 pounds. And he like jumps on the guy's back. He's like, I got him. And then one of them just like grabs him off their back and he like throws him across the room. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. That's basically what's backing you up right now. He's going to do fucking nothing. The best he can hope for is like poking the eyes out or some shit. Like gouging their eyes out. Or, like it's just fuck. He's going to do nothing. Champagne, you're a little overeager as well if you think you're going to do anything here. You're useless right now. Your army fucking sucks. So if you guys fight right now, if the Terran has anything more than one tank on red health, you're fucked. Those Lings were super useful, right? I don't know why you guys force fights so much like this. It doesn't make any sense. You just, all you're doing now is you're throwing all your bank away. You're throwing all of your money away in the trash. You guys are absolutely dead now. You guys are literally just... You basically what you guys are doing is you're taking your game here and you're just dropping it into a wood chipper and then you're just pushing it deeper into the wood chipper and watching it just get destroyed. Like there's really, it's gonna be really hard to come back from that because you're giving them so much momentum on you. Also, Champagne, bro, you need to kill those Hydras. If you are in a situation where the entire army is anti-ground except for like 4 or 5 Hydras, and you have like 12 mutas, kill the fucking Hydras. Because if you kill the Hydras, you can kill all the rest of the army with nothing attacking you back. What if you kill like 3 tanks and sack your mutas in the process? How the fuck are you going to deal with the Hydras, the Lings, the Roaches, the Hellions, all the other shit? You're just going to die anyways. If you killed the Hydras here, you actually might have held this.
Our forces are under attack. Mineral field depleted. Mineral.
Oh, I'm stretching.
Our allies are in combat. Our drones are under attack.
They're getting too rich. Your opponents are getting too rich now. Because now Zogger, your problem is you don't macro at all early game. You like develop a bank that you just don't spend. So your timings are like, if someone like has like a board in front of you that you want to like punch through, you're like always like, You just can't do it. You just don't have any power in your early pushes because you don't spend your money and you don't have enough units fast enough. And then because of that as well, you lose momentum in the mid game. You have a big ass bank because you don't spend it very fast. But then as soon as like the mid game happens, you start losing momentum and they start killing your expansions that are new expansions, and you start running out of money because your existing expansions go away. Or your existing bases go away. And then you still keep going. But now you got no more gas behind the punches because now you're out of money. You need to power spike a little bit better. Nice counterattack with Lings again, Champagne. You did this last time too, and you did a good. That was a good one. That was good right there. But why not do that initially instead of fucking? Why don't you just do this to start? Fucking do this at the start instead of having fucking Zogger throw his army away by himself repeatedly. And again, if you guys aren't communicating, fucking communicate. And Zogger, stop throwing your army away.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that a fucking blurb? That wasn't me. I heard that though. Yeah, that's basically what this game was for you guys. A big ass fart. Like, just look at these links. Just look at the links. Look at the links. Look at these fucking links. You killed the tank, right? That's good. That was good the first time. Now look at all these links. I mean, you kill the Thor. You're making him friendly fire himself. Like, like it's okay. It's actually, those lings were much better than the other ones. You're making him kill himself. I'll tell you right now, the lings are doing nothing. The Terran's doing everything, and he's killing himself. So yeah, it wasn't that. It was for the ling trade there. It was actually okay. That was actually okay. But it's like your whole army again was just lings and they're dead again, and this army still stands. Anyways, I hope that makes sense for you guys. Lots of things to fix again. But, yo, thanks for doing another replay analysis, Zogger and Champagne. Appreciate you guys. I love you. Despite the tough love, I love you. I appreciate how dedicated you guys are to wanting to improve the game. And I hope the things we talked about again today help you guys advance further down the line. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of honestly, there's a lot of potential for you guys if you just clean some shit up together. For sure. For sure, for sure.
I swear the next replay my macro will be better, low cry.
It needs to be better. It honestly needs to, because that is your team's overall biggest problem. For sure. You guys have problems. Every team has problems, but your biggest problem as a team is your macro is very. Like that's how you're punching people. You're like, I'm gonna get him. It's almost like you're rubbing. It's like you, when you're. It's like almost. This is what it would be like in a fight for you. Zogger, imagine if you said you were gonna punch somebody, but instead of punching them, you just press your fist into their face really softly, and then you rub your knuckles on their cheek, and then you like slowly like take your fingers and like wipe it off their face. That's how you're trying to punch them with your army. And then the guy looks at you and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get off me!" Fix your fucking macro, dude. Anyways, thanks for doing it, guys. I'll see you in the next video, whatever it might be. Take it easy. Much love. And good luck in your own games, guys. Peace.